trying to they're trying to blackmail and recruit by KGB. We know that interrogations are still in place, and many of those who are already sentenced to years of prison, 11, 12, 14, are proposed to collaborate with the regime, with KGB. And we understand that they're under big pressure, but we are also proud of all of them who refused to collaborate with criminal regime. And of course, we are collecting the evidence of torture, the evidence of crimes against them, and we will be working on initiated international tribunal, like Hague Tribunal, against Lukashenko's regime on all the crimes he and his cronies committed.
Maria Kolesnikova, another political prisoner, has been transferred to the only Belarusian penal colony. And what do you think is her fate?
Masha Kolesnikova is a real hero. She is the personal enemy of Lukashenko. This is why she was sentenced to such harsh prison term. She didn't do anything wrong. She just wanted to live in a free country. And this is why she was punished. But she's not the only one. Many other people, like mothers of workers, intellectuals, writers, students, even underage people. There are 17 minors, 16, 17 years old boys and girls who are in prison for political reasons right now. And all of them are suffering on one hand, but on the other hand, they're not giving up. And if you read letters of Masha Kolesnikova from prison, sometimes I feel like she has more energy and more optimism than I have here, living in comfort and being free.
When it comes to people who live freely, as Sviatlana Tikhanovskaya has had many meetings with world leaders since the elections in 2020, which are very much disputed. What is the outcome? Can you see results of these meetings? Are they palpable?
These elections were not just disputed; they were harshly rigged. We have multiple evidence how numbers were falsified, and by different surveys, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya received from 60 to 80% of support, and Lukashenko tried to hide these results unsuccessfully. And most of the countries in the world did not recognize Lukashenko as president, and Svetlana Tikhanovskaya is the real winner of these elections. She is meeting world leaders, and not only prime ministers and presidents, also international institutions like European Investment Bank or European Bank of Reconstruction and Development is meeting Svetlana Tikhanovskaya as the state representative. Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, is working with Svetlana Tikhanovskaya on EU comprehensive plan for economic support for democratic Belarus in the future. This is very hopeful. This is very optimistic. This means that the world does not recognize Lukashenko, but also sees Belarusian democratic forces as the real legitimate partners and representatives of Belarusian people. And we really hope that this policy of non-recognition of Lukashenko, of non-sending ambassadors to him, it will continue. And we will insist on consolidated, coordinated position between the European Union, United States, United Kingdom, and Canada. This is very important, unity.
Yes, we can see that solidarity of many countries, many European, but not only countries with Belarus. But does it bring any effects?
Indeed. What we see some cracks within Lukashenko's elite. It's perhaps not the best word to say elite when explaining nomenclatura. This is more Soviet-style nomenclatura. People united around Lukashenko because of their political and financial interests. But we see that many of them suffered from sanctions, from isolations, and they don't want to share responsibility with Lukashenko for all his crimes. And we will be working with them. We will be dragging them on our side, convincing them that democratic Belarus will give them much more opportunities, and if they did not commit crimes, they will not be punished. And when this crack in the elites will happen, then Lukashenko will not be able to keep his system, his power vertical consolidated. And we also see that majority of Belarusians still believe in changes. Lukashenko did not manage to, as he says, turn the page we see that Lukashenko did not manage to solve the crisis. Majority of Belarusians, 65% precisely, believe that only free and fair elections will solve the crisis. And this is also the result of international pressure and solidarity.
You mentioned that only free elections will solve the crisis, but is there a chance for free elections to take place anytime soon in Belarus?
Of course, there is a chance. Of course, there is a chance. If we will continue putting enough pressure on the regime, he will not have other choice than to make concessions. First, he has to release political prisoners. Second, we should start the dialogue on free and fair elections. You know, in the 80s, also when Solidarity movement appeared and there was a fight for freedom, not many people believed that the changes are possible, but it happened. Round table, elections, and Solidarity won. Similar situations happened when Soviet Union collapsed, when Berlin Wall collapsed. Sometimes changes come unexpectedly. What we should do right now, we should prepare for the future. We should be ready when these changes happen to take a situation over control.
And when it comes to European allies of the Belarusian opposition, are they doing enough? What more could be done for the free elections to take place?
Of course, our neighbors are the most active. Poland, Polish government and president, all political groups in Poland are very supportive. Lithuania, Latvia, Ukraine, because they are neighbors, they are always much more involved. But we also see that countries like France, which is now presiding in European Union, countries like Spain, Portugal, are much more involved in Belarus case than before. This is quite promising. We see that not only business interests matter, but also values matter to them. And we have to keep this interest to Belarus on a high level constantly if we want the unified, consolidated position. What they can do more: support civil society, support repressed families, something like rehabilitation programs for kids of political prisoners can be initiated. Now we have problem with lawyers because we have thousands of political prisoners and not enough lawyers who can visit